and welcome to another episode of Mommy Needs a Break. It is a podcast for moms who obviously need a break because we all need one. What's up? I'm one of your hosts, Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop everywhere on the internet.
And I'm Marisa Johnson. She is Marisa J on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, yes, you see this lovely lady over here in her red orange with her flowing locks of curls. She is an amazing mama of 3 boys, okay? 3 under 3. She's a co-creator and director of the Black Love docu-series. Y'all give it up for the beautiful Codie Oliver.
Woo!
Yes. Codie, first of all, the fact that you got here early.
Right.
Was I early?
Yes, you actually were.
Oh,
I feel like you were.
Wait, either you were like right on time or like a minute early. Either way.
In mom time is early.
Yeah, in mom time you were early.
I'll take it.
And you have like 3 toddlers.
That part.
That I cannot believe that myself.
You know what's funny? You're right, because I spent the first year of the 3, not the first kid, but the 3 saying, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry I'm late. Like, that was just like, I should just say it in advance. I'm going to be, what time did you say? I'll be late. Because that was my life.
And it's just because you never know what's going to happen with your kids. Like, they just, you have the plan, but something happens. Somebody throws something. Somebody poops on their clothes. I can always
forward to that. But before we get into all of that, this is our segment called Ain't No Shame. It's our mommy confessional. Basically, we don't shame each other. It's no judgment zone. So today, there ain't no shame in not bathing your child for 3 days.
No, there's not.
No. Wait, is this whole bath included or like not even a whole bath?
No, I mean, Halo was on break this past Christmas, and it was just me and her. And it was just like, oh, she's been in those same pajamas for like 3 days.
I mean, you might want to change the clothes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we didn't go outside. Like, I didn't take her to the park. We didn't do anything. I was just literally laid up, and she was bathless.
Well, you're in the house though mostly, so it's like.
No, I know, but normally we try to do the baths every night. She likes the lotion too. She likes the lotion.
Are you supposed to give your kid a bath every day? Well, okay, so my mom is Korean. She said yes. She was like, you have to bathe. I was like, we didn't do anything. We're in the house. She's like, you still have to bathe your baby every day. And I was just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, what about skin oils? Like, I get it if you're like in daycare or if you guys went out somewhere, you're sweaty, you smell like outdoors, whatever. Like, I get that. But do they have to wash your baby every day?
I don't think so.
I mean, normally she is at daycare, so I have the guilt of like, okay, let me throw her in the shower with me or something, just quick rub down. But when we were home, I was just like, oh my gosh, this girl's been in the same Mickey Mouse pajamas. And I don't care. I'm just so tired and I just can't do anything.
It happens to the best of us.
And then she takes so long in the bathtub and I'm like,
And you're pregnant?
Yes.
Listen, I could not tell you when Brooks bathed when I was pregnant. Because it was already hard enough just like picking him up and do that because it was like bending over all the time. Was the worst thing imaginable.
And you had twins, so you're oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know that he bathed that whole 9 months.
See, I don't feel bad.
Just kidding. He totally bathed, but not often.
He's alive and he's fine, so that's not even a problem. All right, you guys, let's talk about a couple of mommy tips. All right, so we like to tell some things that's helpful that we learned along the way.
Sure.
Now clearly we ain't been in this mommyhood thing too long, but I feel like every day is a learning experience.
Right.
It is.
So what I do is like changing time. Now that Maverick is 15 months, he likes to, he changing time is the worst time. He won't lay down. I have to like squeeze little fat thighs to just like lay here, let me clean you up. And so one thing that's been helpful is just adding toys to the changing table, and then I change out the toys. So, and then I try to put things that's like he doesn't play at any other time. So then that way he's like, oh, this is a new toy. And then after like the 20 seconds that, is no longer fun, then I have another one up there that's like, so I have like a rotation, I think of like 5 of them. And so by the time we get done with the 5 toys, like I'm done.
What is he doing? Like rolling around?
He like tries to like flip around and like get out of the changing table because he'd rather just, I guess, be.
When's his birthday?
October 8th.
Okay, the twins are November 12th. So if he's 15 months, I guess the twins are 14 months?
Yeah, oh wait, is there overlap?
He's almost know the months.
Wait, when do you stop the month?
I think that's why she asked them because her baby's so close to
right.
When I said a year, she was like, how many months? I was like, I don't know.
When do you stop the months?
Well,
See, I'm a first time mom. Maybe that's why. And your second time, you're like, you know what?
with Brooks, I probably stopped. I would, because, it depends on who you're talking to.
That's
right?
true, yeah.
When most people ask, they don't care. Right?
Right,
So you just
right.
round. He's
Right.
a year, he's almost a year and a half.
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
year and a half, he's almost 2.
Right.
But if you're talking to another mom who has like kids around the same age, then you're like exacts, right?
Maybe that's why I asked you, because I was like,
I'm sure.
It's like
It makes sense
what
now.
range of one?
right,
Early
'cause it's
one?
different. There's a big
Right,
difference, right? Okay, so yeah, just putting toys on the changing table, but changing them out, because I feel like I used to just put a toy up there and then I was like, wait a minute.
Wait, can I
that's not
co-sign
funny.
this?
Yes,
I
please.
totally co-sign. We call it the inappropriate toy. Because up there, they don't want to play with like their regular toys. They want to
Exactly.
play with lotion.
Yes.
They want to play with wipes. They want to play with the remote.
Mhm.
So we always are like, no, not that. Give them the inappropriate toy. Whatever's
Yes.
not a toy, that's what they want. For me, that's what my kids
that's
want.
good.
And they're
That
the same
makes
age.
Yes, see, that makes sense.
Willow's
Maybe I'll
too
try
grown.
that.
I don't even know.
What do you do
She
now?
could change her own diaper if she really wanted to. She takes off her diaper.
Well, okay, can I ask a question? So she's 2.
Yeah.
You're about to have a baby. What is your, and this is not a judgment at all, I'm curious.
None taken.
What is your potty training plan for her?
So I tried during the Christmas break again. I tried a week. And Halo is so stubborn and she does not like to be told what to do.
Mhm.
She's me,
Mm-hmm.
literally. So it's like if I tell her sit on the potty, it's like I'm not doing that.
Right.
And she will sit there
Yeah.
and then when she has to go, she will step off and pee right next to the toilet. And then with the poop,
Got
she
it.
will hold her poop
Yeah, no, that part.
until God knows when. And then let it out as soon as we put a diaper on her if it's nap time.
At least
or
there's a
something.
diaper on her.
Right, and
That's
she'll
a
just
win.
let it out. But she will not. I gave up a little bit.
I'm not mad at it. I'm
Wait,
not
when
mad
did she
at it.
potty? It's fine.
Brooks is potty trained, but I was of the philosophy like I'm not doing it. Like so he was 2 when the twins were born.
Mhm.
So it was like, did we do it before 2? Right? No, I'm not doing it. I'm pregnant. If you want to do it, Dad, it's on you.
Yeah.
Then it was like, well, and I knew that the twins were gonna come and I wasn't gonna want to do it then. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, A, he'll be ready when he's ready. B, like if it really gets dire, I'll help. But Dad gotta do something. I'm carrying it too.
Yeah.
So we ultimately had to do it because he went to school where he had to be potty trained.
Yeah.
So there was he went to school at 2 3/4 and he had to be potty trained. So that was like last September, and I think it was in May. I went out of town for 3 days. I took the twins, and I was like, Tommy, I think this is a good time for you to do this,
You would
right?
know.
And he did it. He did the 3-day weekend
Oh,
where you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
wear
yeah.
underwear. Except Brooks was like, no, I'm wearing underwear, but he didn't wear pants. But he did it.
He
He did it.
So wait, because you're a boy mom, do you teach your boys to stand when they pee or sit? Like, how does that work? 'Cause I've always wondered that question now that I have a boy.
In the teaching process, he sat. But
Okay.
like very quickly after he stood up on his own, and I think it was because of his
He watched his dad, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, because that's what I was wondering.
But I know both. We have a friend whose son is a day older than Brooks. We call them twins, and he sits.
Mm.
It's really funny when they're together too, because like,
He's like,
it's always like I have to go to the bathroom. No, I have to go to the bathroom. Okay, you guys can both go. So they're like racing to see who can go first, and so then one will stand, and the other one's gonna put the seat back down and sit. Like it's like a thing where they have to orchestrate and coordinate. But yeah, they got it.
I'm with you. I think I'm just gonna let her roll because she knows. When
Yeah,
she's in
she
the
does.
bath.
She'll be
so
ready
smart.
When
when
she's in the
she's
bath,
ready.
she won't pee.
If you don't
she'll
have
jump
to
out.
do it,
Right.
don't do it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm all for
That's
it.
hard to wait. So, like, how do you get the? I feel like when there was such a fog when I first had my baby, and I feel like to have another child, like I can't even imagine what you would go through with a toddler and then a new twins, and then they're both in all 3 are in diapers. That's I would just be like, I don't know how to do this, you
Yeah.
guys.
It's kind of a blur, but yeah. I mean, the difference is, when they're big, like 2, which
Yeah.
is what she is and
Yeah.
what Brooks was. Like they're peeing in their diaper. You're not changing them every single time they
Sure.
pee. You're kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
changing them like when they poop, and then maybe like I don't remember once in the middle of the day. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But you're not
Sounds
changing
right.
them that much.
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
changing the poop, and that's annoying.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot less.
Because I just feel like you're gonna have to change yourself. You get on the
You
toilet.
wanna
Here's the
come over and help
diaper.
me?
Let's. I'm gonna teach you how to change yourself. I can't do this. All right. We got
So this next segment is called Let's Scroll. It's basically, you know, we get our free time. What do we do? We get on our phones, we scroll.
Go to hide out in the bathroom.
So there's a study in Desert News. It says marriage is not viewed as a crucial to a successful family in the U.S. However, most of those people view marriage favorable. However, the people who are married feel like this is the best time they've ever basically had a marriage. This is the best time to be married.
So wait, hold on. You said so most people in the U.S. now don't feel like marriage is
for a successful family. They don't have to be married.
Fair.
But the people who are married are like, this is the best time of my life. Like we're thriving.
Well, is that better then? The people who are married are having, because you know, like back in the day, it was like people who were married are like most people are unsatisfied in their marriage.
Right. It was
But
totally different.
Yeah, so the fact that now it's like, okay, well, the people who are married are like, yo, I'm really satisfied. This is the best thing I've done. I feel like, isn't that a good trade-off?
I think that, so to your point, right? People used to get married for stability, you know, women weren't working.
Yeah.
So there were all these different reasons that people got married that had nothing to do with like, oh, I really love you and I want to spend my life with you and you're my partner and that kind of thing. And if they did have that, they sometimes gained it later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now I think people are getting married later. They're choosing, like they're deciding, what does marriage mean to me? What role does it really play in my life? What role does partnership play in my life? And so I would guess that information is because people who are getting married are truly choosing that and committing to that and like putting that work in every day. Like it's conscious.
Right,
I'm doing this because I want to. And the people
right.
who aren't getting married, who still have families, right? Who still have kids or whatever, are like wholly choosing that. Like, you're my partner, we don't need the piece of paper, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's just about like our mentality now is like, I'm gonna do what's best for me and then I'm gonna be excited about it.
Yeah.
Not that everybody's
does
happy
make
in their marriage.
That
you know what I
makes
mean?
so
But,
much
like,
more sense.
that's what I think.
Do you think influence plays a part now that we have so many people to kind of look to?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we do.
I mean,
thanks to some talented directors.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we don't see ourselves. I know when we go to like marriage retreats or things where there's couples, it's so for like church and
So
things
cute.
like
Isn't
that.
that cute?
It is
So cute.
Or we went to like a wedding yeah, I'm not there yet, so it was just so touching. Both of us just felt it like this is goals right here.
Yeah.
10 years in, it was so beautiful. So it's like just seeing other Black couples.
Absolutely.
You know, it's inspiring.
Because I think especially for Black people, obviously, you know, you go through the history of us. It's been families separated during slavery. Then, you know, then we've had like a long time where it was a lot of single family homes, and that just became a part of our community and a part of our psyche. And I feel like there's a whole change happening where it's like, no, Black love is beautiful. Like, have a partner. It's being celebrated. Men are talking about, I love my wife. Like, I want to be with her.
Right.
The whole, Black men don't cheat movement, which we'll say that.
Started as a joke. But then,
Right. But there's, you know, but there's a lot of men who are like, no, I really don't cheat. Like, I love my wife. I think it's such a beautiful thing to see for Black people. And then, like, that makes me even ask you, like, what made you go, okay, it's important that I document Black love?
Well, it was partly everything that you're saying, right? So the idea initially came to me when the Obamas were coming into office, right? He was still a senator,
right?
But running for president, and there was this media narrative about a Black marriage crisis, and so we're basically being told that we are not getting married or staying married as often or as long as others.
Right.
And also that Black women, the more education you have, the less likely you are to find your husband, which I had 2 degrees at that point in my life, and I was single, and my parents were divorced. So people say if your parents are divorced, then you're more likely to get divorced. And so I was like, oh, this is just not in the cards for me.
Right, right.
But I didn't want to believe that, right? I knew that I wanted to get married. I knew that I wanted to have a family. And so listening to all of that and trying to have some hope, right?
Yeah.
And a friend of mine went through a really bad breakup, and she was just very upset and bitter and just like, no one's happy. Like, what's the point, right? And that made me sad, and I wanted to be able to provide her with examples.
Yeah.
And as I was like, well, what about, you know, Reggie and Gina Bythewood, you know, the filmmakers? She's like, who's that? I don't know who they are. And I'm Googling them, trying to show her pictures of famous people. And, you know, they're just the documentation wasn't there. The receipts were not there, but the Obamas were coming into office.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, that's Black love, that's beautiful. And I was like, okay, we need to figure out how to put this somewhere.
Yeah.
I said at that time, I want to create a place where Black love stories live. And so even though I did not do it then, I mean, I did an iteration of it, which was, I was going to do a coffee table book. So I actually did interviews that I audio recorded to write them up, because I'll have those. But I didn't do the documentary version until I met Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, my parents are divorced. He's never seen his parents together. So it was a way for us to talk to married couples about what it takes to make a marriage work and to see those examples.
That's beautiful.
So that's why it started, you know, and the data was all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, this is not, and there wasn't information, it was headlines.
Yeah.
Right? Like this number of marriages end in divorce, and this much percent are Black, and da-da-da. And we're not even talking about financial status at that point.
Right.
We're just talking about race. Why?
Yeah.
So we could dispute the data and we can analyze it and do all of that, or we could just show you examples of people who are making it work, which is much more interesting to watch.
Yes, it is. It has been. Some of the stories too. I feel like that is like, for Black people, like, you know, sometimes they say in our community we don't like therapy. Like, I feel like that is marriage counseling for sure. If you're not gonna get marriage counseling, at least watch the whole entire Black Love docu-series.
I agree with that. I do. I think it is a way to at least watch other people have tough conversations.
Yeah.
But to sometimes sit with your partner or even your friends and see that and go, what do you think about that? You know what I mean?
It helps navigate the conversation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you see yourself in some of these couples.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, we're going through that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about
what do you think about this whole point that they're talking about? I have a friend who was like, girl, like, I'm watching the Black Love docu-series because this is what's going on with me and my husband. He needs to know. I was like, yes, I like that. Bringing couples together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So wait, so since you're working on this with your husband, obviously he's your life partner, he's the father of your children, you guys see each other every day, you work together. How has that dynamic been?
Let me know.
Challenging. Very, very challenging for us. It's for all the reasons, right? So one is just that we have very different work styles.
Okay.
So that's that part. Then there is the fact of the matter that, like, we now have, you know, now meaning we have 3 kids. We had 1 and then suddenly 3, you know, but we have household responsibilities and then we have work responsibilities, and they don't always add up.
Yeah.
And so the problem, there's so much to it. So one of the biggest issues that I have is that I have the same person who will say to me, hey, come on, spend some time with me. It's 9:00, stop working.
Yeah.
At 9 a.m. we'll be like, why didn't you read that script? Why didn't you set up those interviews? Why? And I'm like, you were there last night when I was hanging out with you because you asked me to. Or you were there last night when I was changing this diaper or changing these sheets because your son peed in the bed. Like, like you were there for that. Yeah, why are you up my butt about it? Because professionally, he's like, you have to be accountable. And I'm like, you're right. But you already know. Yeah. So that's a huge issue for us.
I feel like as you're saying this, I'm like, yes, girl, I feel you were there. You were there. You know what was going on.
So when you say you have different work styles, that's the same with me and Terrell. Yes. Terrell is very, I mean, he's an engineer, so he's very precise. He likes systems. Yeah. He's logical. It's like organized. Everything makes sense to him. It's easy. Yeah. Everything's easy. Yeah. And me, I'm more creative and I need to see it and I want to talk through it. That part. And I want to just examine, take my time. And so he's quick, I'm slower. You know, so how do you work through the work styles? Because we work together too. We work together.
Answers now. I mean, I would say, first off, where do you place your value, right? Like, are you certain that you want to work together, right? And if so, then you have to figure out what is the work required to make that the best it can be. So one is like, we are in therapy, you know, and a big part of that, and what's funny is our therapists are a couple. And so they're like, no, we get it. Let's, you know, as far as the working together part. Yeah. So we try to talk about the way that we communicate work-wise, you know. Oh my God, there's so much, y'all. We try to talk about, you know, ways to give each other grace, you know. Also, what I've learned at the end of all of it is that I have to set boundaries, because my husband is very similar to what you just described. And I have to sometimes just be okay with my process, even when he's like, that's too slow. we need to make a decision, you know? And I'm like, no, this is what I need to do. And I just have to be okay with the fact that he's not going to like it. Right. And I'm not going to like that he doesn't like it. And so I'm upset. Yeah. I just have to like, give myself grace, which was something I probably started saying and actively doing when I was pregnant with the twins. Yeah. Because I was also pregnant with twins. Right. Yeah. And he was still like, how come you didn't do this? And why didn't you do that? And you need to do this. And what's up with this? And I'm like, bruh.
Right.
I'm tired. You see that? I'm dizzy.
You did this.
Yeah.
Like, so that part, you have to figure out your boundaries, give yourself grace. I would say first and foremost, I would say don't be above therapy about it specifically.
Big.
Yeah.
That's big. Yeah. Well, I was going to say this. I mean, I applaud you because just as you're talking about this, I'm like, oh, yes, girl, this is like you speaking gems to me, okay? But okay, so you have 3 babies under 3.
Well, I say now 3 and under. Because
3 okay. 3
when they were born, he was 2, so I was like 3 under 3.
How did you manage that, by the way? So you had, you know, a 1.5, 2-year-old? Mm-hmm. He's 2 years older?
He's 3 and they're 1. So they're 2 years apart.
Okay, so he was 2 when they were born. What was that management of time looking like so that you didn't neglect him or that you still took time for 2 babies that were new?
We were very, very conscious of trying to make sure that he didn't ever feel forgotten or unimportant or second fiddle. Yeah. Very conscious of it. Talked to our pediatrician about it. Like she was like, just tell him, like, I'm so glad that we can sit at the dinner table and have dinner. Mm-hmm. The babies are so small. They drink out of bottles. Like, it's really nice that we get to hang out with you. Like, she was like, they're not going to know the difference. Yeah. So tell him, like, affirm him. Tell him how great he is. Yeah, you know, even insinuate, suggesting, like, it's so much better to hang with you. Because they don't know. Yeah. And so we did that. We also, as soon as we named them, I was still pregnant. So we taught him, like, you're having baby brothers. Like, it was all about his brothers, not necessarily like our babies. And actually now he calls them my babies. Like, he's like, my babies. What are my babies wearing? Because he wants to match them.
Cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. That is so cute.
So, you know, we gave him, once we named them, we told him your brother's names are, and so he would say their names, like, long before they came. So by the time they came, he knew them. Like, those were his homies. Yeah. And so doing that plus, you know, just, like, really trying to affirm him, I tried not to nurse around him too much, not because anything's wrong with nursing, but it required such intimacy and closeness that he couldn't be a part of. Yeah. I didn't want to hurt the baby. You know what I mean? That I never wanted to be like, oh no, you can't come over here. You know what I mean? So I tried to, if I was nursing, just do it elsewhere.
Oh, okay. That's smart.
That's
smart.
really good to know.
Yeah, I mean, and again, there's nothing wrong. Like, it wasn't that I didn't want him to see it. It was just wanting to be able to,
like, if he wants to sit in your lap.
That would be like 40 minutes that I can do nothing for him. You know? So I tried to do that, which is obviously easier as time goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just anytime that we could spend time with him alone or really just talk to him and pay attention to him, we just did it over the top, however we had to do it. And it was just honestly never an issue. He really loved them.
Good. Did you take a break from work?
Yes. Okay.
You did?
So
I just have to know.
So yes and no, actually. So, you know, we work for ourselves. Yes. We have Black Love, the series, blacklove.com. We have live events. We have our social media year round. I mean, everything is not just like, oh, the show is on, so now we're doing something. Right. So in 2018, the season 3, I think, or 2, I don't remember, y'all, came out around, they do it in 2 parts. So whatever, early in the year, and then the second part was October. I was due in November with twins. And they could also come at any point, right? Full term is like 34 weeks. So we had, I think, the Black Love Summit. Oh my God, everything's a blur now. Whew, whatever. We had lots of work. Yeah. We had lots of work. We had live events. We had to finish the show. The show was airing. Marketing it is a big push. Yeah. All of that was like August, September, October. These babies are due in November. Ooh. So, and we had just launched blacklove.com a few months prior. Okay. So I had to find someone to take over for me to manage editorial, which was like, ugh. So I finally find someone, and I worked, I found her about a week before I stopped working, and I trained her, whatever. I stopped working, and I found out like a couple days later that I had to be induced. So like I basically worked up until I consciously stopped, right? Yeah. So, but I also knew I had to start working quickly because season 3, we had to do season 3. Sorry, so that was all season 2. So we had to do 8 new episodes of television that were due, I don't remember, like May. And I had the babies in November, so the show was due in May.
Yeah. And then it takes you, like, what, probably about 4 months?
It takes all the time. I mean, I don't know how deep you want me to go, but basically we typically shoot continuously. Right. We've never just sat down and said, let's start season 3 now. Yeah. We just are always shooting. Yeah. So we look up and we're like, all right, we've got about 25 interviews. We need maybe 5 or 6 more to fill out the season. But of course, when you're pregnant with twins and doing all those other things, there's not a lot of time to do the shooting part. So by the time I had the babies, I had to go back to work, or had to start working 3 weeks later. What? I gave myself 3 weeks of not looking at my phone. And then after 3 weeks, I started setting up new interviews to finish the season. I started, setting up all the things. We needed a new assistant. Our assistant had quit, but we got a new assistant. I had to hire, I had a nanny crisis. I feel like
I'm looking at my future right now.
It's when I think about that time. Right now, I'm nominated for an Image Award for Best Director.
Yes!
And
you deserve it.
And I'm very, it's very meaningful to me because last year was so hard. Mm-hmm. And so I had to hire a new nanny because we had a nanny crisis. I had to hire a new assistant. This is all in that 3 weeks that I wasn't working. And it still took longer than that. I hired a story producer for the show to help, help me with the editing process for the first time ever. Yeah. I had to hire a new editor. I remember that now too. We had the same editor for seasons 1 and 2. We had to get a new one for season 3 because our editor moved on to another project. All of that. I schedule all the interviews and then craft every episode. Yeah. So I had to do all of that 3 weeks after having twins.
My goodness.
Which is why my husband be stressing me out. So you see what I'm doing. But anyway, I had to do all of that and then put these episodes together. And it was just it was a very challenging time. I was like, there was a part of me that was like, I want to be able to say that I did it. And there was a part of me that was like, I just want to lay here with my babies.
That's it. The strength.
Y'all.
The strength of a woman.
I'm so proud of you because this Image Award, you're going to win this, girl.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
We're going to lobby right here.
I truly mean it when I say, I am just honored to be nominated. Yes. I really feel like that gave me some validation after last year, right? Yeah. It means a lot when people like the show and like the episodes. But I don't know. It just, when I heard that nomination, I was like, okay, 2018, I see you. Or 2019.
One of these years.
2019, I see you. Right?
It makes it all worth it.
Yeah. It puts a nice button on the memory of how challenging it was.
Yeah. Well, it's all worth it. I mean, because what you guys are doing has been so phenomenal for so many people. It has changed, I think, just a conversation on what Black love is, just the conversation, what people say about themselves and what they say about their partner and what they say about their future. Because like I said, I have a lot of just as many single friends that watch it as married friends because they're because they're I want to learn something,
It's become the vibe. Every time I post a family photo, it's a natural hashtag Black Lives Matter. It's a natural thing now.
Okay, so this is a question I have for you because out of the 3 of us, you have the most kids. So how do you make sexy time? Because I always talk to her about this. I'm like,
you want to hear my story?
I do want to hear your story.
Marisa be she be in the bed with the pressure to the side. It's just. So I'm okay.
In the bed?
That was one of her ain't no shames. We can't hang around it.
No, you're right. No shame.
She was like, she was asleep. She was like, she was asleep.
I wasn't ain't no shame.
I need a diagram.
I totally forgot about that. My parents and everyone was like, why would you put that on?
Y'all just skip over the ain't no shame. So listen to those.
That was one of those. You probably should have cut that out.
What is it? So are you guys intentional about it, or you feel like, okay, that's a department? Because I feel like for me, it's okay, that's a department that I should probably start thinking about a little bit more.
I think you have to be intentional about it. I would say that both having talked to hundreds of couples, right? And then also within our own lives, like recognizing that, like we have to be. This smoothie is good. I'm choking.
It's the ginger.
It's the ginger.
Yes.
It's flowing.
Right.
Yeah, we definitely have to be intentional. And it's funny that we've only just gotten there now. When I say we, I mean me. He's like intention every day. Hi, how are you?
Of course.
I'm like, not today.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of it. Not just sexy time, but just like date time.
Yeah.
Like alone time.
Yeah.
And it is made challenging because not just the logistics of all the children, but like sometimes having kids puts stress on you, and you're just like, I don't like you, man. and it's because we're juggling work and we're juggling kids, and I get that. And I went to the Mom Friends last year. If you have not been or heard of it, you should totally go. It's in DC, Mom Friends.
Okay.
It's in DC. They're gonna have another one this year, all Black women. And I was on a panel. I was moderating a panel called "Mommy in the Sheets," which I have to be very specific because I was the moderator. I don't have the answer, so I wasn't on the panel. And one of the things that the ladies all agreed on was that, it's hard sometimes to make that time. Sometimes you really feel like I'm just uninterested. I barely like you right now, but making that time, you'll later feel like you'll appreciate it. For yourself. You'll later kind of connect back with your partner, with yourself, and you'll be grateful for it. And so then this was last May. The twins were like 6 or 7 months, I don't know. And I was like, okay, sure. I probably just got there January 2020, But yeah, I think that being intentional about it is very necessary. It don't happen organically.
That's true. Whew, that is a spoken word here.
I have it on the calendar every Friday. It'll be like
great.
date night. But we might be. But
even if it's like at home, but the fact that like it's like your top of mind, like, okay, this is intentional time for us. Like,
I'm not saying we meet that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
it's okay.
We actually interviewed a couple weeks back that said that they have date nights, but they also have like basically like a sex night.
Oh,
And basically they put it on the calendar so that like we know that's supposed to happen, so we can psych ourselves up, we can get ready however we need to, right? One person might need more than the other, but however we need to get ready, we can get ready. And they also said that it's okay if the day goes by. That at least they know, it was supposed to be Monday and now it's Wednesday, so let's, you know what I mean? So they're just conscious of it.
That's smart.
For themselves. And that, we got
on the
home.
calendar.
And Tommy was like, so what night? I was like, oh, you were listening to that.
The night with the star. We're just gonna put a star there. You know what that means. All right, so we gotta get out of here shortly, but where can people find you on social media?
Please visit @BlackLoveDoc on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm Codie Co. That's where you find the photos of all the children.
Love this. Adorable.
But definitely follow our social pages. It's exciting to us to be able to share everything that we are about Black love, not just couples and marriage, but about parenthood and sisterhood and brotherhood and self-love and all of these things that make up who we are, especially as we come into our relationships and we're like, oh, I still haven't repaired that relationship with my mom or with my, whatever, my best friend, because I don't know how to, be honest with people or forgive. Right. Well, those things are going to show up in your relationship.
Yeah.
And so we try to talk about all of it. And the other thing is that Tommy and I own the show. We own Black Love. Own the network is our distribution partner, and they're an amazing partner. That's how y'all get to watch it.
Yeah.
But we do all of the marketing. And so our social media pages and our email subscription, if you go to blacklove.com, you can give us your email address. But that's how we get the word out.
Yeah.
You'll see the billboards, bus benches, events, anything you're seeing is
us.
That's
crazy.
So please tell everybody, it matters a lot because that's how you'll find out. I'm sure OWN will promote the show on their social channels and on their network, but not anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, follow us. That's how you'll know when we're coming back. That's how you get exclusive clips.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the parties or the big panels.
Oh yes, the live events
are great.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we get out of here, we'd like to leave you with some inspiration, just to make sure that you know that we're here for you. A lot of times when we ask each other, like, how are you doing? It's like, I'm fine, but we want to make sure you leave with something spiritual, inspirational. So today Megan has her
I got a word. It's actually a quote from George Bernard Shaw. It says, "A happy family is but an earlier heaven." And that is really important to me because I feel like sometimes it gets so chaotic. and we forget the little blessings that are our family. Like, you know how hard it is for like sperm to get into an egg and then make a baby, and then for the baby to grow, and the baby's out here to make this mess and get on your nerves. Like, that is serious. So we have to remember, like, all this little chaos is just an earlier piece of heaven.
That's
I just had to say it like that. Okay, so you guys, it's been so great taking a break with you. We're so glad that you joined us on Mommy Needs a Break. Make sure you follow our pages, our social media channels at MNAB Podcast. That's at Mommy Needs a Break, in case you were wondering what the letters mean. MNAB Podcast. All over your socials and everything like that. You can follow me, Megan Thomas, at Meg Scoop, everywhere.
And Marisa Johnson at She Is Marisa J.
And of course, one last time, Codie, where can we find you and all the wonderful stuff about Black Love Doc?
You can find me at Black Love Doc on all the social pages, and on Instagram at CodieCo, CODIECO.
All right. We'll see you next time right here on Mommy Needs a Break. Bye.